Hello, everybody. Welcome to Aspirants Hub and welcome to the series called The Answer Behind the Rank, where we are learning objective parameters with respect to answer writing. So, today we will see the approach for GS4 ethics, and this is the last video of the series. Okay, let us quickly get started. Firstly, we'll talk about certain directions and elements that you will have to keep in mind with respect to the theory section, and in the later part of the video we will see how to approach the case studies as well. Okay, so for any given question, theme or topic, there can be different subjective interpretations. Okay, but as long as you are able to justify your interpretation, all are correct. Don't have to worry what is correct, what is wrong. If you are able to justify, then that is correct. Okay, and mostly we see three types of questions. First is like defining a value and a question around that. Second is mostly asking you about the significance of the value, and third is around the application of the value in various aspects, for example in normal person's life or maybe in the life of public or civil servants, right? So these type of questions we see. Okay, so this is broadly how you will be preparing. Now, with respect to every term in the syllabus, what you will be doing is you will prepare a precise definition. You don't have to copy this definition from anywhere. What you can do is take a value and just sit down with it and try to jot down what that particular value means to you. This way, what will happen is you will be able to internalize that particular value, you will be able to understand it exactly what it means because you have defined it in your own words. Plus at the same time, wherever you want to bring references with respect to that particular value, it will become easy for you. Okay, and definition will be simple without any complex jargons. Now if the question pertains to a specific ethical value, what you will do is always start with a crisp definition, and along with it try to give one example. Okay, an example which stands for that particular value. Or what you can do is you can always start with a quote, right? For example, if there is a quote on integrity, you can just say integrity is integral to every society. Then after that you can define the term integrity. Okay, see, always prefer a simple definition. This is the best way. Like I have listened to many topper strategy videos as well, so most of the toppers suggest this thing only, ki sit down with the value and try to jot down what it means to you. Okay, so this is one of the best approaches I feel. Please try this approach. Okay, next is value mapping. What you will do is take an eminent personality and try and map all the values with respect to that personality. For example, Gandhiji, right? You have Gandhiji, then try and write what are all the values that Gandhiji stood for. See, different examples will be coming to your mind. What you have to do is just recall those examples in mind. Okay, based on those examples you will jot down the values. So this also helps us in easy writing. Like I mean, while we are writing examples, it makes this process very very easy. So do this for all the personalities that you can think of, the major ones. See, there are quote based questions, right, in the ethics paper. So from the list of quote based questions you will get the list of thinkers as well. So with respect to all those thinkers, you do this value mapping. Plus apart from this, there are some prominent thinkers which we already know, so jot them all down and do this exercise. Okay, next is flowcharts and diagrams. See, all these are from my notes, so this way you can add flowcharts. For example, what is the essence of ethics? So ethics helps in, our behavioral aspects, in our actions as well as in our choices and thoughts. So this way you can draw a flowchart. Then this is about what is morals, what is ethics. Okay, and how moral and ethics both shape our values as well as our attitude. Okay, now if you talk about this diagram, this is mostly about your purpose in life. See, your purpose or ikigai, we have heard of this book, right? Ikigai simply means your purpose in life. So our purpose stands at the intersection of four components. That is, what is our mission in life, what is our passion in life, what profession we have chosen, what is our vocation. Okay, so this is something, this I had taken from Umaharti ma'am's notes, it was there, then I incorporated it in my notes. Okay. Then this is about self ethics. So self ethics lies at the intersection of public as well as private ethics. Then this is about again a different way of representing how morals, ethics, values, attitude, behavior, beliefs are connected with each other. Then this is about attitude, the cognitive, affective, and behavioral aspects of attitude. Okay, so please make a note of diagrams like this. You don't have to copy it from anywhere. Sometimes when you are revising or something like that, so those mental, connections start forming. So based on that also you can visual I mean, based on the thoughts that you have in your mind, you can simply represent them in the form of diagrams. So that is also one of the ways. I think Dvaj Goyal sir or Asad Zuberi sir, I don't remember. So one of them had suggested this method, that they did not look for diagrams anywhere, I mean not any source or the internet, whatever notes they had studied, so they tried drawing it I mean in the pictographic format. So you can have your own diagrams, flowcharts in this manner. Clear? Next is, see, while talking about the examples, okay, it is very, very important to write examples in your ethics paper, because the examiner is not evaluating how much you know about ethics, but how well you are able to apply. So the application part matters the most. And how will you show the application aspect? When you are able to give examples to whatever you are writing about. So you can collect examples from the newspapers, from your personal life, if you've seen something at your workplace. See, let us say if you're working as a doctor, right? It just doesn't have to be that you'll collect a few examples from your profession. Think about other professions. Try to, think of something your friends have told about their profession or your family members have told, and jot those examples down, so that you have examples from diverse profession as well, with respect to work environment, workplace, while you're writing your answers. Then lives of leaders, philosophers, administrators. Then there are different websites, for example the Better India, as well as you have different coaching institutes, they have, written articles about ethics with good examples. You can collect examples from there as well. Okay. Next, now talking about case studies. See, just give 15 minutes per case study. Okay, so this is how you will be approaching it. Don't give more time than this, because ethics is one of the lengthiest papers in the UPSC civil services examination. So if you are breaching this time limit, then what happens is it becomes very difficult to write all the other questions, and at the end we'll just have to compromise on some questions if we don't keep a track of time. So that is why restrict yourself strictly to this time limit of 15 minutes. Clear? Now talking about, see, certain basic things, we'll specifically see the elements as well. Briefly talking about this, see, always bring out the ethical dilemmas and ethical issues very, very clearly, and always make sure that you are able to give logical reasoning to the dilemmas, to the issues that you have mentioned. If this part is done well, that is arguments, right? Arguments based on your uh, based on the dilemmas that you have identified, issues that you have identified, if it is done well, you'll easily be able to score above 110. Otherwise your score will just, hover around 90 marks. So please practice a lot of case studies. This only comes after writing. You cannot simply, read the case study and then figure out the dilemmas, issues mentally, try thinking of arguments. So this does not happen. You might get some arguments, but you will not be able to articulate it properly. So for articulation, it is must and should that you write them and see. Okay. So what you can also do is, see, um, every Sunday, right, in the morning you can write essays, because this is how we usually prepare. Every Sunday has to be reserved for essays, And in the afternoon, what you can do is write 3 case studies every Sunday. So likewise, by October November, you will be able to complete all the case studies from 2013 to 2026, because you'll get the 2026 paper also. So this is one of the approach that I followed, like when I was preparing. So I wrote all the case studies from 2013 to, I think it was back in 24 4. So I had written all the papers till 23 or something, I don't remember exactly, but I had made sure that I write 3 case studies every Sunday along with the essay, and it really helped. Okay, so please try this. This is this is also one of the ways in which you will be able to attempt all the case studies easily. Clear? Now, how will you approach the case study? See, having a concrete framework ready gives a sense of flow, structure, and coherence to your case study. And what is this framework? See, first you will give the subject matter, then you will give the stakeholders, then ethical dilemmas and issues, then options available to you, then choosing an option and articulating on that. Okay, see, now don't have to worry. We'll take each one of this element and I will talk more about it. Okay. See, for example, talking about the subject matter, capture the entire case study in 1 or 2 lines at max. That is basically the introduction. Subject matter here means your introductory lines. So let us say if there is a case study, in a case study dealing with an IAS aspirant heading for interview but sees an accident on the way. So what will your subject matter be? Dilemma between achieving career ambition versus responding to accident victim as good Samaritan. See the choice of words I have used. I have not randomly written career versus going to the interview, career versus something else, I mean career versus helping others. I have not written vague words. I have written very very specific words like career ambition, responding to accident victim as good Samaritan. See, all these elements I have incorporated from Anudeep Duri Shetty sir's book on answer writing. Okay, so this is how Sir used to write his case studies, with very, very specific keywords. Now, talking about stakeholders, always make sure that whatever case study it is, see, there are various approaches in which you write case study. Sometimes people do skip the stakeholders part completely. What they do is, in the introduction, they will just, sum up the entire case study itself. They won't mention any ethical issues or dilemmas. Then they will, in the second segment, they don't write stakeholders, but they write like values at stake and mention all the ethical values that have been at stake. Okay, so the choice of what framework you want to use in your case studies is completely up to you. But always make sure, even if you're not writing stakeholders directly in the paper, at least while practicing at home, this is your page, so here you write your case studies. On the right side, draw a small line and write stakeholders part here, so that you are able to quickly map the case study to all the relevant direct as well as indirect, primary as well as the secondary stakeholders. Because at least while giving your final argument, final option that you would choose, you would be able to come up with a solution that keeps in mind all the stakeholders, right? So at least for that final reasoning that you bring out, this stakeholders thing will definitely help you. Okay, now let us see an example. If there is a case study in which you as CEO is facing severe unionism and strikes affecting company profits, stakeholders will be yourself as the CEO, employees, public at large, local families, investors, and shareholders. Okay, then ethical dilemmas and ethical issues. See, always understand, don't get confused between dilemmas and issues. Dilemmas is something you have one value versus another value. Okay, but ethical issues is just like an issue, it is not one value versus another value. Always read the question very very properly and try to understand what is asked in the question, if it's a dilemma or if it's an issue. Okay, for example, if we have this mining in a tribal inhabited forest, so ethical dilemmas will be development versus nature conservation, public interest versus protection of tribal land rights, economic growth versus equitable prosperity. So you've seen in dilemmas, always there is one value versus another. Okay, but now if you're talking about issues, it will be the value of justice, ethical value of justice, that upholds fair distribution of the costs and benefits of development. Then respect for human dignity, recognizing the inherent worth and cultural identity of tribal communities. Just in the name of development, you cannot evict the tribals, right? Then there should be compassion and empathy as well. That is sensitivity towards those facing displacement and loss of livelihood. So these are all the ethical, you know, values. Okay, ethical issues basically here. Clear? Then what are the options available to you? See, there will be 3 to 4 options in the scenario, and you will properly write the pros and cons of each of the options. Okay, two choices will inevitable will be the extreme options. Let us say something like you are working in a company and you are seeing corruption. There's a particular project and there are some aspects of corruption in it. So what will you do? One thing is proceed with the project as it is. Second thing is resign from the company. So these are two extreme options which you will never choose. Okay, see, which are generally avoided as your choice. The remaining ones should be the practical courses of action you wish to pursue. See, it should not be ideal solution out of the two options that you will choose, right? We'll talk about it here. See, choosing an option, choosing the course of action, not the most original or the most ideal one, but you have to choose that option that should really be practical, right? If you want to go ahead with that, that should you should be able to exercise that particular option in reality on ground. Best, you know, a practical course of action should be chosen. For example, tribals agitating against a mining company planning to raise the forests and explore mineral wealth. In such case, decision to put a complete ban or moratorium on mining is impractical, because if you ban mining in that particular area just in the name of, protection of the environment, then what might happen is the developmental benefits that could have that we could have received due to mining, for example, it might create employment opportunities for the tribals living there, right? We will lose out on that. So we are not choosing such impractical options. Okay, and always remember that your articulation matters more than the course of action. Your reasoning matters, how well you are able to justify what course of action you've chosen. Okay, use the first person I. It makes your answer feel more personalized. Okay, it shows your perspective, how you would approach, right? Because we have already seen ethics paper is not just about ethics. It's not just about how well you know ethics. It is more about how well you are able to apply ethics, right? And while giving your arguments, always give examples, government initiatives to justify it. Okay, and be concrete and specific about your articulation. What this means is, we will see on the next slide. Okay, towards the end you can always end with a thinker's perspective or a quote. This is about the conclusion. Okay, now, for example, how to be very concrete and specific about what you are writing is, see, for example, there is a case study which talks about gender issues in the district. So, your solution should not be very vague, right? Like, I will ensure women empowerment in the area. Instead, you can make it concrete and specific by using these wordings, like, I will try to set up a livelihood opportunity based on their skills, help them produce marketable goods, procure that material in all government departments, and then encourage local private sector to buy these goods. And you always have to give examples. We have spoken about this because this shows how well you are able to apply ethics. Okay, so examples of successful models are like the Seva, Lijjat Papad, right? So this is how you will always talk in a concrete and specific manner. Clear? So with this, we have seen the video on ethics. If you have any doubts, please feel free to post it in the comments below and I will get back to you. Thank you so much. All the very best.